The fog clung to the California hills, curling around the sprawling, impossible structure that was the Winchester Mystery House. Its turrets pierced the mist, and its windows, some leading nowhere, others staring into walls, gleamed like eyes keeping secrets. Tonight, I'm pulling you into a story that's as haunting as it is mesmerizing, a tale of love, loss, and a woman who built a labyrinth to outrun her ghosts. This is the story of Sarah Winchester, a name that echoes through time, tied to a mansion that defies logic and a life that broke under the weight of tragedy. Picture this: a young woman in a glittering ballroom, her laughter mingling with the clink of champagne glasses, unaware that fate is about to deal her a hand she'll never escape. Grab a blanket, dim the lights, and let's unravel the enigma of Sarah Winchester. It's 1862 in New Haven, Connecticut, and the air is thick with the promise of autumn. Sarah Lockwood Pardee, barely 23, stands at the edge of a grand ballroom, her emerald gown catching the candlelight. She's the darling of a wealthy family, raised in a home filled with the warmth of 6 siblings and parents who dote on her every whim. Her life is a tapestry of privilege: music lessons, European novels, and invitations to the city's most exclusive gatherings. Tonight, at a gala hosted by the governor, her eyes meet those of William Wirt Winchester, the sole heir to the Winchester Repeating Arms Company, a fortune built on rifles that tamed the West. William is tall, with a quiet intensity, his dark eyes locking onto Sarah's as if the world has paused just for them. They dance, their steps effortless, their conversation a spark that ignites something unstoppable. By the end of the night, Sarah knows she's met the man she'll love forever. Their courtship is a whirlwind of stolen moments and heartfelt letters, each one a brushstroke in their portrait of devotion. Sarah writes to William in looping cursive, her words brimming with affection. "My dearest William, your letter arrived like a ray of sunlight. The roses were lovely. How did you know they're my favorite? Mother is hosting a gathering this Saturday, and I find myself counting the hours until I see you again. Yours, always, Sarah." William's replies are equally fervent. "Sweet Sarah, your words are a melody I carry with me. I'll be there, counting the minutes until I can hold your hand once more. Forever, your servant, William." Their love is a flame that burns bright, unyielding, and on September 30th, 1862, they marry in a ceremony that sets New Haven alight with celebration. The couple settles into a life of opulence, hosting lavish parties, traveling to Europe, and dreaming of a future filled with children's laughter. 3 years later, in 1865, Sarah's dream seems within reach. She's pregnant. William is overjoyed, pacing their parlor with visions of teaching a son to ride or reading to a daughter by the fire. But when July 1866 arrives, their daughter, Annie Margaret, is born fragile, her tiny cries barely piercing the air. Sarah senses something is wrong. Annie's skin is pale, her breath shallow. The best doctors in Connecticut are summoned, their faces grim as they diagnose marasmus, a rare condition that starves the body of proteins. Sarah becomes a ghost in her own home, cradling Annie through sleepless nights, whispering prayers that go unanswered. 2 months later, Annie slips away, her tiny body still in Sarah's arms. The loss shatters them. The nursery, once filled with hope, becomes a tomb of untouched toys and folded blankets. Sarah, consumed by grief, can't bear the thought of another child, the risk of such pain too great. William clings to her, but the cracks in their once perfect union begin to show. The years that follow are a slow descent. Sarah withdraws, her vibrant gowns replaced by mourning black, her laughter silenced. The Winchester home, once a beacon of joy, grows heavy with sorrow. William buries himself in the family business, but even that can't shield him from despair. In 1880, his father, Oliver Winchester, dies, leaving William the reins of the company and a fortune worth millions. But wealth is no salve for a broken heart. A year later, in 1881, tuberculosis claims William at just 43. Sarah, now a widow at 42, is left alone with a vast inheritance, half the Winchester Company, a fortune of $20 million, and an income that flows like a river. Yet to her, it's a curse, a weight that anchors her to a life she no longer recognizes. In the 1880s, America is gripped by a fascination with the occult. Spiritualism sweeps through parlors, with mediums promising to bridge the living and the dead. Sarah, desperate for answers, attends a seance in Boston at the urging of friends. The room is dim, the air thick with incense. The medium, a woman with piercing eyes, sways as she claims to channel a spirit, not William, but a Native American chief, his voice raw with anger. He speaks of his people, slaughtered by Winchester rifles, their blood staining the fortune Sarah now holds. "A curse follows you," the medium intones, her words chilling the room. "The spirits demand atonement, or they'll claim you too." Sarah faints, the weight of guilt crashing over her. She's never fired a gun, never sought to harm, but the idea that her wealth is tainted takes root, gnawing at her soul. Haunted by the seance, Sarah seeks out more mediums, each one feeding her fears. They speak of restless spirits, of a curse that can only be appeased through action. In 1884, she visits a renowned mystic in New York, a man with a cluttered shop filled with talismans and ancient books. He listens to her tale, then delivers a prophecy that will define her life. The spirits require a home, a place to rest. Build it, Sarah, and never stop. If the hammers fall silent, the curse will take you. His words are a command, and Sarah, grasping for salvation, obeys. She sells her East Coast properties and heads west, drawn to the open skies of California. In 1886, she buys a modest 8-room farmhouse in San Jose, nestled in the Santa Clara Valley, and begins a project that will consume her for decades. The construction starts small, but grows into a frenzy. Sarah hires hundreds of workers, carpenters, masons, glaziers, who toil around the clock. She's a constant presence, her black veil fluttering in the wind, her voice soft but firm as she issues orders. The house expands chaotically, guided not by architects but by Sarah's nightly rituals. Each evening, she retreats to a seance room, lighting a single candle and communing with spirits who, she believes, dictate the house's design. The result is a maze of absurdity, staircases that spiral into ceilings, doors that open to drops, windows set into floors. Sarah is fixated on the number 13. 13 steps, 13 panes, 13 chandeliers, a talisman against the spirits she fears. The workers, well paid and loyal, whisper of her madness, but follow her vision, building a house that grows like a living creature. Life in the house is both grand and lonely. Sarah fills rooms with treasures, hand-carved furniture, Tiffany glass, gold-plated fixtures, but she dines alone, her only company the creaks and groans of the mansion. She hosts no guests, her once social life reduced to memories. The townsfolk of San Jose gossip, some pitying her, others calling her a witch. Sarah ignores them, driven by a conviction that the house is her shield. In 1906, a massive earthquake rocks the Bay Area, toppling chimneys and cracking walls. Sarah is trapped in a bedroom, freed only after hours of effort. To her, it's a warning. The spirits are restless. Within days, She orders repairs, the work resuming with feverish intensity. The house becomes a monument to her obsession, sprawling to 161 rooms with 47 fireplaces, 40 staircases, and secrets hidden in every shadow. By 1922, Sarah is 83, her body worn by decades of grief and relentless purpose. The house, now a labyrinth of 24,000 square feet, is her world, but it's also her cage. On September 4th, she dies quietly in her bed, surrounded by the echoes of her creation. The hammers stop, the workers disperse, and the house freezes in time, a riddle left unsolved. Sarah's fortune is gone, poured into a project that brought no peace. Her death marks the end of a life that began with promise but ended in solitude. Her only companions the ghosts she sought to appease, whether real or born of her mind. Today, the Winchester Mystery House is a tourist magnet, drawing thousands to wander its twisted halls. Guides share tales of hauntings, of footsteps in empty rooms, but the real story is Sarah's. She was a woman of intelligence and heart, undone by loss and the charlatans who preyed on her pain. Her labyrinth was her refuge, her penance, her prison. As you walk away from this tale, think about the power of grief, how it can reshape a life, and the dangers of letting others, be they mediums or manipulators, steer your path. Sarah Winchester built a house to escape her demons, but in the end, it was the house that held her captive.